What's good, Relocation Football League fans? It's your boy Smitty, joined here along with Forbes, and we have episode 4 of the RFL podcast for the college series, and we've got some stuff to dive into. Of course, as usual, recapping the games, another week of blowouts, but as you can see from the title of this podcast, things more than likely, and as they should, will change with conference play on the horizon starting this upcoming Monday in just a few days. So far, again, we've just seen a lot of, blowouts and matchups that just weren't too great. I think week 3 was probably the worst matchups that we had in terms of, competitiveness. We just knew what those outcomes more than likely were going to be regardless. But this upcoming week, man, we're going to dive into our predictions. The spreads have already been put out there, so guys already kind of know the schedule, but we're going to dive more into all of that. But with that being said, man, Forbes, how you feeling so far on what you've seen in the first 3 weeks of the college series and the conference play that we're about to get into?
Pretty much it. Games.
Say it again.
I'm ready for it to be.
Oh man, you might try it one more time, man.
That's not.
Wow, why right now they got my man's in robot mode? He was literally just sounding great right before we started it up. One more time, man. One more time, give it a shot. Oh man, might have to solo.
Competitive game.
We heard something about competitive games, man. so
I'm dying, man.
okay, there he is. Sounds like he's cleared up now. But yes, Forbes said he had a storm going around his area, so it kind of messed up his internet. We were gonna try our best to get him, see if it gets too bad, I guess I'm gonna have to solo dolo this thing. But
Better?
Yeah, it sounds like it's getting better. You want to try to repeat what you said then?
I was just going off of you. I'm ready for more competitive games, ready for conference play. I feel like of every 10 games that we get, 8 of them are blowouts.
All right, there we go. We heard that clearly. Yeah, blowout central. It's been pretty much for the first 3 weeks of the college series, even with us picking out the best possible matchups. And let's go ahead and hop into these games, right? So getting rid of this here. Game number 1, blowout. Illinois versus Missouri. I expected this game to be a little bit closer than what it was. Just going back to the spreads, I'm trying to pull up right now just to see what my predictions were on how this game would turn up for week 3. I had Illinois winning by more than a touchdown. They obviously did that. On paper, just looking at the matchups and everything, didn't get to see too much of Missouri, but they looked like they were a pretty good team. So I thought they would make this a bit more of a competitive game, and just didn't really end up being the case, as Illinois was able to run away with this one and currently ranked 5th in the country and are 3-0 undefeated. I have not seen their biggest challenges yet, but they've looked pretty good. It's 40-13 victory. What's your thoughts on Illinois so far?
I think the biggest thing when watching this game for Illinois is that it says they scored 40, but I really expected more from their offense. You look at Vince Hammer on the graphic, only missed 3 passes, one of them being an interception, 250 yards and a touchdown. But I feel like if you go back and watch the game, they were scoring touchdowns because, as you saw, Missouri threw 3 interceptions. They were getting the ball with 30 yards to go to score, 45 yards to go. They were getting short fields every time, and they were kicking a lot of field goals. Mm-hmm. So when you see 3 interceptions, you see, I think they fumbled a couple times, just all the turnovers they had, you would expect Illinois to put even more than 40 that we've seen other teams. I'm not very confident currently in Illinois' number 5 ranking.
Okay, yeah, and coming into this game, I mean, Lowe had a phenomenal performance in week 2. Rob mentioned it in the game during the game. He threw 7 touchdown passes, didn't throw a single one in that matchup. and the 3 picks, of course, that you mentioned. Biggers, the running back, was the bright spot for Missouri. Other than that, just really couldn't get anything going on that secondary. Defense really helped out Illinois a lot in that matchup. And at the end of the day, Illinois came out with the victory as predicted, but just by a higher margin. Let me go ahead and, okay, yeah. But we'll go into the Tuesday matchups. We had Miami versus Stanford, and boy, this was a 68-point blowout. I had Miami winning this one by at least 3 possessions, 17 or more points. I thought that Stanford might have been able to do a little something better than this. And of course, after what we saw from Miami in their matchup before when they last played against LSU, it was really more of a let's see how Coach CP and Lito Loso responds after a loss like that. And he just got right back to the old drawing board. What worked the first time around in their big win against Notre Dame to open up the season, and big 71-3 score as the final here, and a big performance, of course, from that guy you see here in the poster, Dante Taylor. What's your takeaways from this matchup?
My biggest takeaway from this one is that I think this game really shows that coaching matters in the college series. You saw that they stumbled a little, tried to do a little too much last week, came back this week and absolutely whooped Stanford. Offense, defense, special teams, it all looked great. It made Stanford look like they were the inferior team and showed that they're an inferior team. But with a blowout like this, there's not much to say about the game itself. Just kudos to CP and Lito and getting the team right.
And I guess I already could see a little bit commented on in the chat. Concerns here for Miami. Matty King, in this matchup, you're expecting him to have a big day on the ground against Stanford. Stanford was ranked 23rd in this matchup, granted, coming into this, and we're 2-0, but just has not been able to catch his stride at all in the first 3 games of play, and just could not do it here. He even had Taylor, I think, match him in yards and was able to get, I think, a pair of touchdowns. And so looking at that, are you concerned about Miami's run game, which has never been a factor for a while? I can't even remember. I mean, their run game has been great since CS2 with Amir Williams, of course, 2 top-rated produced backs, and also
Darnell Hodge, right after him.
Yeah, right after him. And now, with Matty King, he had a great, solid year for him last year, and only 25 yards on 11 carries. Granted, he didn't get the ball a lot, but could that have been just from the lack of production? What's your thoughts on what you're seeing from the run game?
Well, that goes back to week 1 when I brought it up when they played Notre Dame, is when he had something like 13 carries for 30 yards or something back then. That it seems to me that this year they're really trying to get Dante Taylor going and using all his skill sets. And Matty King's just suffering. His head's not in the game. I'm not sure what it is, but he's definitely fallen off. I'm very concerned. Like I said back in week 1, if Miami wants to make a deep run for the first time in their college series history, they're going to need Matty King to come through, or they're going to have to figure something else out.
Yeah. So interesting to see how they move forward, but a 2-1 start now, above 500. See if they keep things going. Still trying to stay in the conversation again to get back to an ACC championship game. Missed it out by losing to Virginia Tech. I know they can't wait for that rematch, of course. Last game of the season for them. And so still a long way to go before we can even talk about that. But already 1 L on the belt, and they have to keep the wins going, man, because there's Duke in question. We'll get to them. ACC is not going to be something easy that you get to. We already pretty much know who's tipping their hat to be qualified immediately with the way that Clemson's been playing. We'll get to their game as well. But the second Tuesday game was Alabama versus Minnesota. And Minnesota did okay, putting up 27 points, but Alabama dominated as we expected. And they even sat their guys. So they got the job done early. 52-27 the final score. The reigning Mackey Award winner, our Heisman for guys who don't know, Jaden Young was able to toss in 5 touchdowns. Andre Romano went off on just 14 carries for $132 and a touchdown. And you can see Dior Gore 2 touchdowns to make it 3 total on the season for him. And also we had a nice little showing from user submitted running back for Minnesota and Chris Herring. What's your takeaways from this matchup?
I think this right here just shows us the tiers in our college series. That Alabama, title contender. Minnesota, everyone knows they got a good quarterback, good weapons. Chicago's like, just a near-tier team, and they're nowhere close to each other in terms of the way they are. If you put them on a scale, Alabama's S, Minnesota's A, but S is just that much better than the A-tier teams. You look on the graphic, you see the 3-headed monster and Jaden Young, Romano, and Gore. And I think you talked about it last year. The only trio even close is probably Clemson. So just it is what it is for these kind of games. When you're going against the Alabamas, the Ohio State, the Clemson, the top 3 teams this year, this is what's more than likely going to happen unless you have the team to match, and Minnesota did not.
Yeah, and we've finally seen Keyshawn get a touchdown, his first touchdown of the season. It was a beautiful touchdown pass towards, I believe, the left corner of the end zone in the back, and dropped in there nicely by Young. And he was able to get 85 yards in this one. I know we've been looking at this transfer to see how is it benefiting him, talking about it a little bit. Much better game this time around. Anything you want to talk about his situation? Do you feel like they're going to find a way to get him more involved, or do you think that this might just be his performances based off the talent that he's got around him, where you're just not going to see him get those big games like he used to?
I think he might have a couple big games this season, but this is just his role now. They have Dior Gore, they have Romano, they had their team before he got there, and now he's picking up the yards that are just coming his way. The offense is going to run through Dior, the offense is going to run through Romano. I'm sure there's going to be games where he just, because he is that kind of or caliber of player, where he's just open, he's going to get his 150 yards.
I think we had a cutout, so we'll just wait a little bit.
Once or twice, but I don't think we're going to see it on a regular.
You there, Forbes? Can you hear me?
Oh, did I cut out again?
Yeah, cut out. You said you don't. His 150-yard games is kind
I
of.
think this is just. Yeah, so he might get those games once or twice, maybe 3 times this season, but this is his new role, just getting what's left over.
Gotcha. All right, now we go into the premier games, and the first game starting at 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. FCS obvious domination here. LSU beating them 75-3. Just not going to dive too much into that. Just being a blowout. Anything you want to say about LSU's victory? Any performances that stood out to you or anything?
They played an FCS team. This is what we expect at this point.
Yeah. So shout out to the guys who were able to do, what they had to do. 75 points up is still great. No matter if you're playing an FCS team or not. There's some teams who played FCS schools and didn't put up that total. So, LSU handling business, doing what they're supposed to do, as Forbes said. Then we had another FCS matchup, Tennessee taking on, I forgot which FCS it was. Don't matter. Still beat them, blew them out. 0 points on the board for FCS. 55 for Tennessee as they improve on their record. Any performances or anything you want to take away from this game, or again, just them doing what they're supposed to do?
Doing what they're supposed to do against an FCS team.
All right, yeah, I kind of figured, man. Ain't really too much to say. Shout out to the guys who were able to go out there and perform. Just everybody, right? Getting multiple sacks, just doing their thing. Got my guy R.L. Matthews on cover there too. Had a nice little pose. Put him on there. But we will move on because I believe that is the only FCS games we had for this week. Now we have some games. Georgia State, I mean, not really, you almost can consider them an FCS school. And SMU was able to get the victory 46 to 7 here in this matchup. Again, there's a lot of blowouts, guys, so it probably really isn't too much for us to even dive into. This matchup, though, SMU clearly dominating, and Georgia State again showing that those tiers in which Forbes was talking about, just wasn't even close.
Yeah, this is a Power Five school playing a Group Five school. A bunch of 4 stars playing a bunch of 2 stars. This is just what happens. Like they say, games are won or lost in the trenches. When you have a bunch of 80s overall for your D tackles and DNs going against a bunch of 60 overalls on the other side, the Georgia State never had a chance.
Yeah. All right, so we move on, and we had a much closer game here. This is definitely one of our more competitive ones. Arkansas versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is 3-0 right now, looking pretty good. Arkansas, we already knew from last season, they were a bit of a dark horse. They upset some teams last year. And boy, we got a matchup coming up between them and Auburn, which the 2 times, I believe they played twice last year, if I'm not mistaken. And they were bangers. So I mean, we're looking forward, of course, to that matchup coming this week. And they showed, even with Oklahoma State, they were able to hang just a little bit and make it a pretty decent game to watch here. But Oklahoma State ultimately coming out on top, 33-17. Anything you want to say about this?
I mean, I was just most excited to see. This is their first time we've seen them play, right? They didn't get a game in week 1 or week 2, right?
I think they got games, but they were
And they got one in week 2.
yeah. I think, let me go back and
I mean,
check.
like they weren't like premier games or.
Oh, they definitely didn't get
Well,
a
I just want to say
live.
I really liked watching. Yeah, I really like seeing. This is Kareem Douglas, right? I'm not mixing
Mm-hmm.
up quarterbacks
Yeah, Kareem Douglas.
because there's a lot to remember now. I really liked watching Kareem Douglas play. He's one of those guys where I was saying last week, who's going to take the crown for QB1 next year in the draft? We got a race this year, but there's a lot of guys in the mix for next year, and I think Kareem Douglas is solidifying himself up there, especially with the team he has around him, trying to make some noise they're in the Big 12, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, making
there
some
goes
noise in the Big
Pecan
12 because I
saying,
know
yeah,
that
one
conference is
premier game.
wide open. One premier game. Um, I just really liked watching Kareem Douglas play here. I think they have a real shot at the Big 12, taking it and going to the playoffs and just seeing what they could do because they made it last year without him, right?
Yeah, they made it all the way to the semifinals of the playoffs,
Yeah.
and ultimately lost to Ohio State, who they only lost to by 3 points. It was 20-23.
So yeah, I think OSU is a real exciting team to watch this year. I don't have much to say about Arkansas.
Yeah, they made it close. That's all I could say. Kareem didn't have like a crazy day in terms of like touchdowns put up on the board like he had the first couple of weeks that they had some games. He had, of course, weaker comp. Um, but I mean, he was 84% from what I was seeing. And him and his connection with Pitts was pretty big. They didn't score or get in the end zone together, but I mean, over
Yep.
130 yards receiving, uh, they had together in that matchup. But a solid win nonetheless here. Arkansas, of course, not the same Arkansas team that we're accustomed to seeing from before, but you know, uh, I still think they did a pretty good job with what they had in this matchup to give them something. Moving on, we had Oregon just doing what Oregon's been doing. There hasn't been one game where these guys haven't scored less than 50 points. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think there's been a game. Yeah, 67 is the least amount of points
I don't
they've
think they've
scored.
scored.
They
Yeah.
scored 80 in the first game they had, 76 in last week's matchup. And here they are blowing out a rival, which didn't even look like a rivalry game in Oregon State, 67-6. Just pure domination hear from Corey Baines and just the entire squad. Anything you want to say about his performance, or just the Ducks in general?
I think people need to watch out for Corey Baines. I think through these first three games, now he hasn't played any competition yet, but these three games are going to propel him into early Heisman talks, early Mackey Award talks, because I think he threw 6 touchdowns and 7 touchdowns and six more. Like I think he already has 16 touchdowns in 3 weeks
Yeah, I kind of
playing
forget.
inferior competition. Um, I'm, but I think I'm most excited when it comes to this Oregon team to see what they do next week,
Yeah,
because I believe they
UCLA.
play UCLA.
Hmm.
So that it's a conference game. It's gonna be their first real game. I'm excited how they do there. This is another team. Oregon State is in the 60 overalls. Oregon's a 90. There's just they're gonna go out there, get 10 sacks, get 4 picks, score 8 touchdowns. It is what it is. I need to see. They've had a nice 3 week warm up. I want to see what they do in week 4.
Yeah. I forgot. I can't. Um, yeah. So coming into this week, he had 18 touchdown passes, man. 18 touchdown passes to 3 interceptions. Uh, so Corey Baines has definitely been doing his thing. Again, his first game was FCS, second game Appalachian State, and his third, of course, what we're going over now. 4 touchdowns to just 1 interception in
Wait,
that
what
matchup.
you
And
just
over,
say?
I said he had 18 touchdown passes.
No, who'd you say they played in week 2?
Week two, Appalachian State,
Appalachian.
Appalachian. I don't know. You know what I'm
Appalachian.
talking about. But yeah, doing their thing. And yeah, in those first 2 games against Appalachian and FCS, 14 touchdowns, which is ridiculous, and 4 touchdown passes here in this game. So yeah, they're definitely putting on a great performance. The stat pad going on, which is what you want to do in those weaker matchups. And yeah, they came out on top
I
easily,
think
not
they
really
did
too much.
actually stat pad in this game,
Yeah,
if I
they didn't
remember
sit
right,
their
because I'm
guys.
the one who recorded this game. I I think they literally threw a touchdown with 5 seconds left
Crazy.
or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, these guys were just out there doing whatever they wanted throughout the whole matchup. So, and honestly, we look at this match and be like, Oregon State in real life would be a little bit more competitive, but this isn't real life, and they were like you said, like a 68 overall team. You're going up against Oregon teams. I mean, 14 touchdowns from their quarterback in 2 weeks, getting a bunch of sacks. Drummond, who's some other guys in there, Randy Wilson, guys like that. Like, yeah, uh, just impact players all over the place. So big W, 61-point win over a rival. That's great. And here we are talking about Duke, the ACC dark horse team that Miami is hoping falters. And I mean, 52-13 over Toledo. Crazy part about this game, man. Their running back, of course, gracing the poster. 6 touchdowns for him at the running back position. This has been a guy that has really been going off, and I think starting to put his name in the hat for RFL scouts. What's your takeaways from this game, and or his performance, or anything you want to elaborate on?
Well, I know this is now 2 weeks in a row you've given Toledo a premier game, and they've gotten whooped 2 games in a row by 40 plus
Yeah,
points. But no, Duke is out here killing it. I think they're by far from the premier games that we've seen, the live games, by far the best rushing team we've seen. Their quarterback and their running back get after it every play. They run a bunch of RPOs. Um, I just want to see if they can keep it up. I don't think Duke has played anybody yet,
yeah,
but they're definitely going to make it interesting
yeah. I'm looking at the stats right
um,
now, man.
in the ACC at the end of the season.
His name is Vince Hunden. 20 carries for 116 yards, 6 touchdowns, and that's rushing.
Yeah,
So, he's fine in the end zone. He's very effective when getting that football. Uh, I seen also the quarterback Eldridge. He didn't get in the end zone, but he had 43 rushing yards in that game. and over 300 yards passing. Didn't throw a pick and had 1 touchdown. So if you're looking at Duke and these performances, of course it's Toledo. Other games they played Georgia Tech, which was pretty good. Was able to beat them 45 to 27. So that's a pretty good matchup for them. They're looking pretty good. Don't expect them to throw their hat and be
I
like
don't know. Georgia
national
Tech been
champions or anything.
getting dog
But yeah,
stomped all season, man.
you said what?
Said Georgia Tech been getting dog walked all season.
Oh man. But yeah, just overall, just a great performance by Duke. We're looking at their matches. FIU, they beat 37-7. Just talked about Georgia Tech 45 to 27, and beating Toledo. And then they got an FCS matchup coming up, which we'll get into. I don't even know if I even have that on for a game that will be premiering on a
I don't
channel.
think
So
you
that
do.
might be on the extras. So yeah. They also, 2 receivers over 100 yards. So they did their thing. They did what they were supposed to. Not really too much to go off on in this game. Anything else you want to say, or ready to move on? There, Forbes.
Oh, yep, I'm back.
Okay. I think we're ready to move on. So going on, we had Louisville versus Notre Dame. Now Notre Dame, we've already seen they've got 2 L's under their belts. Tough ones. Lost to Miami. I'm blanking on who they lost the second game. It wasn't LSU. I'm about to go ahead and check right now. But
I was about to say I thought it was LSU.
I think it was LSU then. Let me see.
Yeah, because I was about to say I thought it was
No, it wasn't
LSU, and then you said it
LSU.
wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't LSU. It was Florida. Yeah, that's what it was. That's the shocking game. And we had Florida beat them
Florida.
shutout,
Okay.
37-0. And John Moon, who's on his poster right now, was playing in that game. A much better performance this week against Louisville. And they were able to beat them 33-8. Anything you want to say about this matchup?
Just that Notre Dame finally came out and played a complete game. I feel like the first 2 times we saw Notre Dame go out there, they looked good, but they felt like they were missing something. Their defense really just couldn't keep the other teams at the end zone. They finally get to go play Louisville, who granted isn't as good as Florida or Miami, but they just felt like they played a complete game this entire time around.
And what I will say too, also, I did not watch. I did not. This game I could not really see. I didn't get a chance to really watch too much of it. I already talked about how Moon looked better, but just going back stat wise, I mean, the guy, no touchdown passes in this one, but he did throw an interception, only 240 yards. Again, we know he's a young quarterback, and as Pecan pointed out, Isaiah Fuller was fully healthy in this game. They were missing him big time in that Florida blowout that they had.
Oh, yeah,
He
they're
found the
running
end
back.
zone 2
Yep.
times at over 100 yards. So his impact definitely was missed, and it was shown big time in this matchup. I want to say now, too, to guys who are watching this one, who are recording games, please do not change up uniforms unless somebody requests it. Because if we can't keep changing up uniforms from the base too much, we want to be able to have their pictures taken in their actual regular uniforms as much as possible, so that we have, draft card images to use. So it's all right, you use it early now, but we want to limit that because there's too many times we're seeing uniforms just being thrown out already. You know what I'm saying? So that is for a reason, though. So yeah, I seen them in the all greens, and I was like, why would they pull these out for this matchup? But it is what it is. 33-8, the final score. And yeah, not really too much to go off for the rest of that. Virginia Tech, though, getting a victory over Wisconsin, 34-14. This was a win they kind of needed. Virginia Tech had a lot of hype coming into this season. They were able to land LSU transfer quarterback Tony Oliveira. LSU had a little bit of a down year. They went 9-4 on the season, won their bowl game and everything. He opted out, and here he is at Virginia Tech, who had an amazing season last year last year going into the playoffs, and had a deep run with a 10-2 season, and even again beating Miami and going to the ACC championship. trying their best to get back there with new quarterback and playing Wisconsin. Wisconsin's definitely nowhere near like they were even last year. They do still have user submitted quarterback and Eric Wellnitz, but really wasn't able to get anything done here against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just did what they wanted to do in this one and came out on top with a 20-point victory over the Badgers, 34-14.
Yeah, I feel like this is a game where I could be wrong, but I feel like Wisconsin scored first, and then the game just kind of started kind of slow. But once Virginia put the first points on the board, then they scored again. I just feel like once Virginia Tech found what they needed to do, they could do whatever they wanted. It just took time for them to get there. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think he threw an interception or two in the very beginning of the game.
Who are you talking about? Wellnitz, or are you talking
But
about Oliveira?
Oliveira.
Oliveira. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was Oliveira, he threw a pick. Um
Yeah,
yeah, and
I just
like and like
Virginia Tech
Pecan was
started very
saying,
slow.
the game was pretty decent for a little bit, and then they started to separate like you said.
Yeah, yeah. Just Wisconsin. Once Virginia Tech figured it out, Wisconsin just couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah, and it was good to see a little bit of drama going on with the squad. With the players on already talk about transferring and this, that, and the third. But again, it's like early in the season. Let's just watch, see how things go. It's a good performance by from MC3, the running back. He was able to find the end zone. Oliveira looked good out there. Finding his receivers and everything. Again, the competition not too great. Wisconsin's a whole 71 overall across the board right now. I think they were like mid 80s last year. So, I mean, big drastic
Yeah,
difference. Even Virginia Tech, of course, dropping down. They weren't like how they were. I think they were mid 80s and they're at 81 right now. So, did what they were supposed to do. Did what they were supposed to do. And good job getting it done while on the road. Moving on, Georgia versus Iowa. Again, Iowa, not a good rated team either. A lot of these games, man, we're just going to really be able to just skim right on through. The matchups just weren't even really that compatible. I mean, expected Georgia to win. I had the spread of Georgia winning by 60 points, though. They didn't cover that. So, yeah. Oh, hold up. This the
we
wrong.
told you. We
That's the
told
wrong.
you
Oh,
they would.
that's week 2. Never mind. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Let's see what I
Okay.
actually had for them. I had them winning by 28. So they did that. They exceeded. My bad, Georgia. My bad. They definitely exceeded that. Beating Iowa, 54. What's that now? A 47-point deficit? Yeah, 47-point deficit. So pretty good getting that done right there.
7.
Yeah, I was looking at week 2 spread. Anything you want to say about this matchup? Or we're moving on.
Did Jonathan Wilson upgrade his player this week?
I don't know. I haven't looked at upgrades yet.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you when you said. But I didn't look at upgrades yet. I just know I opened it up. I'll most likely be adding that stuff tomorrow. But hopefully he did, because he's one of those players that we know has to use his reloads in college due to him coming in as a freshman and not a high overall.
Because
What you said?
I'm the one who recorded this game.
Oh man.
And I'm the one who recorded this game. And I remember messaging Rob and Hodge, because they helped do something like that.
Okay,
Jonathan Wilson is like holding this team back. Now they ended up scoring 54. Oh man, again already?
Nah, you're good. It's clear now. I'm gonna start doing that so you know what's going on, man.
No, but
yeah.
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 I remember messaging some people who record the games with us, because for the first quarter, you would have thought these teams were the same overall. I think Jonathan Wilson threw a pick on the very first drive or the second drive, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, I'm like, if Georgia plays any team that's comparable to them, they're gonna get smacked every time. They're just lucky to happen to be Iowa this week. Wilson has got to upgrade his player. He's holding Georgia back.
Yeah, so we've definitely taken a good key look at that. It was understandable last year. True freshman, didn't come in a high overall. So in the 70s, we knew he was gonna have some bumps, but coming in the same overall. No upgrades last year. So with that happening, like you said, if you want to take this team to the next level, you got to be able to boost because you're operating this Georgia's offense now, and staying at a 78, a 79, something like that is not going to take you to a natty. Even though they had a pretty nice run last year with them, the offense was still a huge question mark for them even last season with him playing. So yeah, he's definitely going to have to work towards getting better throughout his college series, and might have to just forego those reloads until the pros and just work on your guy now. Because that's what's going to make Georgia better. And you want to be the best you can possibly be before you go, into a bowl game, conference championship, or the playoffs at this point. So I think elevating his game every time those upgrades comes out, that's going to be huge. And just being active at the games, getting those reloads to the point where you're dropping student of the game packages and you're getting those +5s and really boosting in areas that you need. Honestly, you can even take the cheap route. Look at ratings that he's not really efficient in like that. If you got area like short throw accuracy or awareness and stuff that you can get up, and they're in a package that's pretty easy to get, pay for the cheaper package, knowing that it's most likely going to upgrade that area. But if that package does have a wide variety of attributes that can be pulled out of the randomizer, that's where you got to be like, okay, might need to student the game this just to make sure. But if there's an area where you can hit multiple areas where you're not too good, cheap route, that's a good way to go. That way you're not stretching yourself out, making every game. But upgrades is a must for him in Georgia right now on offense. But still got it done, 54 points. Can't argue with that. But bigger games, we need more help. Talk about another big blowout. Again, many more of these. Florida beating Air Force 73-0. Florida has looked absolutely incredible on defense, man. The pass rush these guys have been able to generate, the sacks they're getting, Ethan Marks and Manny Rojas has really been absolutely incredible. Of course, with Ethan Marks winning Defensive Lineman of the Year award for College Series 7, they're back on the tear, and you got Manny Rojas really being more of a factor with them too. So, 0-73, this looked like an FCS game, man. Like really bad. But if with this type of defense, what do you think about Florida, man? What type of impact do you think that they're going to have in the SEC? Could they even be able to throw their hat to potentially, compete for a conference championship or even the playoffs?
Oh man, for sure. I mean, when you have two defensive linemen competing for the best defensive lineman in the nation, both right now are perennial first round picks. And Pecan just put in the chat, Florida has not allowed a point all year.
Yeah, 3-0.
If their defense can play like this against the better teams that they are in the SEC, they're going to have to play Texas and Alabama, LSU, those kind of guys. But if the defense plays like this, it doesn't matter who's in front of them. If they can go get 8 sacks a games, I mean, I think Alabama is still the biggest challenge, but
They got LSU
I wouldn't
coming
be
up in
surprised
week
if
5. We just saw Ole Miss take an L. We'll get to that. Texas is another tough game on their schedule. Georgia, Tennessee, no Bama they got on the schedule. So, I mean, that's good for them. But they got a little bit of heat coming. But when you hear those
I think
matchups, do you think
5
they can beat those guys? Kind of cut out. I don't know if
I've shown us a lot about Florida.
All right, say it again, because I think that was my PC that time to cut up.
Oh, am I back?
You're back now.
Oh, am I back now?
Mhm.
I'm back now. The last thing I heard you say was what do I think of their schedule, right?
I was saying they have LSU, Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee left on their schedule for big name. I mean, Ole Miss is on this, but again, we saw them losing. We'll get to that game, but when you hear those matchups, do you feel like, hey, these guys can easily compete with those guys and possibly even come out and get the victory?
I mean, I think from what I've seen from other teams, from what I've seen from Florida, I think I favor Florida in most of those games. I think I would have Florida over Texas right now, and I think I would have Florida over Tennessee right now.
Yeah,
Now we saw
definitely.
what LSU did to Miami, and in that game where they played real competition. So I can't say them yet, but I definitely think Florida is favored in most of those games.
Yeah, I mean, they had one real big matchup, and again against Notre Dame. The asterisk with that game is, of course, their key playmaker Isaiah Fuller missing at that running back game. Now, somebody say it was just a running
Yeah.
back. You can't like would he have made that much of an impact for you to lose 37-0? Who knows? But I could tell you he wasn't at 100%. The offense wasn't operating. They didn't have a key quarterback. You're not going to run into many teams at the top that has that type of setup. So, we know what LSU's got. They, on paper, have the best defense in the country. Texas is pretty up there. We know they kind of do struggle with their quarterback position when it comes to arm talent. So we're going to see, and that's where they're getting monitored with Nyshawn Miller to see, like, hey, is he able to up that aspect of his game, and can he actually lead the offense? Because I think that's just about what they miss. And then Georgia, they're lacking on offense. So you're looking at teams that struggle to put up points, other than LSU. So looking at it like
Yeah.
that, I mean, I do see where Florida, with what they've shown so far, has a shot to be better than I expected than 6-6. And I was not expecting this type of performance from these guys. But again, their only real matchup so far has been Notre Dame. Are they going to be this elite when they play LSU in 2 weeks? They got a bye week right now, but their next matchup are the Tigers. That's going to be a very interesting game to tune in to really see where the Gators really are. And shout out to JoJo Carter for the $2 donation. I'll round you up, my boy. Uh, yeah. Anything else you want to say, or we move on?
I've said everything I need to.
Okay, cool. All right, next game we had Middle Tennessee taking on Oklahoma. Again, another matchup that you just knew Oklahoma was going to walk away with, the better team. 61-10, and the spread I had for this game, let's see what we had. Yeah, I had Oklahoma winning by 30 points, and they almost doubled that. So not really too much to say here. Oklahoma getting it done.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this game.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Washington versus Washington State, the good old Apple Cup. Remember the first Apple Cup we had in the RFL College Series way back? I don't know if it's CS2. It might have been CS2. I think it was.
I
That was a
know
great
Q-Pop was
matchup.
in it. That's what I
Yeah,
remember.
that was the best Apple Cup game we've seen. I think there was another Apple Cup game last season that we had of these guys that was actually pretty decent too. But yeah, it wasn't that. It was not that this season. 71 points put up by Washington,
No.
71-14. Absolutely killed the Wildcats. And again, not really too much to say here. Just the Wildcats are nothing on a level of Washington that we saw. We just saw Washington come off a tough L2 against USC, who's a pretty good, solid team. So, yeah, this is just showing the tier levels between their rival and where they're at. Washington State has never been good in the college series, and that continues.
I just think Q-Pop's glad that he decided to join the RFL 3 years ago instead of now.
Oh yeah, who knows? Maybe he could have balled out still. I doubt it though. So many players in the country, the ratings and stuff. I don't know if he would have been able to put on the type of show that he did. So yeah, good time coming into the league. Speaking of Texas, you got Nyshawn Miller here on the picture. He was able to lead his Longhorns over ECU 55-0. This is what we're going to talk about. The defense of Texas is really good. They had some players that are still missing that we had to correct. Realized that, just for clarity, we found out today that a player was built over another player. Of course, that was accidental. Chase Moore, who was supposed to be on the squad, he wasn't built. He got built, and then he ended up getting built over a dude who was injured last season, who was not who was literally gone for the entire year off a season-ending injury, and brought back was Travis Okoye. So now everything is finally fixed. Next week, these guys should be ready to rock, and looking forward to seeing what they do literally at full strength with everybody accounted for. But they're still undefeated, 2-0. ECU, big blowout. Anything you want to say about this matchup here, Forbes, or no?
Not really. It's like an FCS school.
Yeah, and as Pecan brought up, Shady Houston's been running pretty good. I can't wait to see what he does against comp. He's got some comp coming up this week, though. We'll get into that. So, again, not really too much to jump into with the matchup that they had here. We expect those big-time players to make those big-time plays and perform well, and they did. Now, this was the story. I wanted to make a poster about, make this the image for the thumbnail, but this picture was a little bit blurry, and I couldn't use a good Terrence Worry photo that was provided by Rodney. But Coach Rodney pulled off the upset, man. Got embarrassed his first game against Maryland, bad 34-10 loss. And then they played up against Ole Miss, who was the 8th ranked team in the country. I'm looking at the spreads right now. And I had Ole Miss winning this game at home with the home field advantage by 17 points. And they lost by a point. If you don't cover the point as to what happened here in this game, I'll get into it. But what was your takeaways from this matchup?
I think Ole Miss just took Baylor lightly. They saw Baylor get embarrassed. They saw their slow fall from grace from what's been Baylor in these college series from when they had the Jacob Reed crew, when they had the Killian Bain squad, so on and so forth, to what they are now. And Ole Miss thought there was going to be a cakewalk. That was going to be an easy game. And then Rodney decided he'd just finally act like a coach and coach him up, get him right. Went out there, got the dub. But I'll let you go into how they lost because I want to talk about that too.
Yeah. First off, I want to give a big shout out to Weary's performance, right? Because I liked his play at Kentucky last year. A lot of guys were like, okay, this is a kid, in the future to look out for. Then he ended up transferring. So, okay, left Kentucky, and where are you going? Oh, Baylor? So he goes to Baylor. Rodney's trying to build up his alumni school where he went, played as a safety there for anyone who doesn't know. Ended up playing also, starting his rookie year with the Steamers, going to the playoffs, things like that. So he's got a great resume in terms of being a player. As a coach, starting out 0-1 against Maryland, a 75 overall team, tough, but it was a tough performance from Weary in that game too. So I was just like, man, is Weary just not fitting this system? Is this going to look weird? Is he not going to be able to ball? Here he is going up against the 8th ranked team in the country. He throws in 4 touchdown passes, and he was just having a day. And that's where you're like, okay, now this is the Weary that, we saw from time to time, as a true freshman playing at Kentucky. But where Ole Miss really fumbled the bag here, and we're just going to give them the bell. I know it's a generic team. They haven't got anybody here except for a user receiver. But, man, it was 29-31. And they scored.
They had just scored.
And all they had to do, which even if you didn't get it, why not do this? They had to go for 2, right? Everyone's expecting to go for 2. They scored. These guys bring out the field goal unit and kick it. Kick the extra point. So now, I mean, that right there, if this was real life, would have had everybody in the stadium gasping, especially at home, you're going to do this. And so they literally put all their eggs in the basket for recovering an onside kick, which didn't happen because those odds are heavily against you. And it makes sense for you to be that reliant on your special teams that, hey, we're going to get the ball back, guys. We got this. Made no sense. Baylor ended up winning. Now, granted, even though Ole Miss blew their own opportunity to send this game into overtime and possibly win it there, I mean, still Baylor had the lead. They played good football, and they won this game. So I'm not taking anything away from Baylor, regardless of the terrible decision that the Rebels made there. But big time win here for Baylor. Was there
yeah, but not only that, Yeah, but not only that, so they go and so it's 31-23. They score a touchdown with a minute left. And then instead of going for two, they kick the field goal, do the onside kick, Baylor gets it back. But then they also get the 3-and-out from Baylor. Like Ole Miss does get the stop. They get the ball back with like 25 seconds left and immediately throw 3 checkdowns to run the game out. So not only did they not not only did they not go for two and then not get the onside kick, they checked the ball down instead of going for the end zone.
Yeah, we need better logic, EA. We need way better logic. This should not be happening. Things like this should not be happening within the game. You got to make the AI smarter. That's what you guys said you were going to do with this game in Madden, and we're still seeing they can't manage simple things like this. Got to be able to code that and make that better, please. But yeah, unfortunate to see Ole Miss go out like that. But big dub coming out of it for Rodney Goins. Interested to see what he does. I mean, after winning over a top 10 ranked team, that's big time. And Pecan pointed out Samuel Van Brocklin having a great game, which he did. Rodney's quote, I guess, key that he took away from the game against Ole Miss was like, hey, I hate DJ Irving. So DJ Irving is absolutely hated on by Rodney Goins, making this game, interesting and boiling his blood for his ability to be a great dual threat. But yeah, he came out on top with the victory, man. Came out on top. Moving on, crazy here. He had a rivalry, I believe this is too, right? In real life, if I'm not mistaken, Georgia Tech versus Clemson, and Clemson did exactly what we expected to do. Smacked them down with the home field advantage, 55-7. But this was the best game this season by Bo Sanders. The first 2 games, they were playing up against 2 really good teams that had really good defenses, and they were able to hold him in check. Couldn't keep him out of the end zone still. Other than the last game that they had, he had 2 touchdowns in the opening game, but against Michigan did not score, and the average wasn't looking too great. But over 200 rushing yards in this matchup, and he was just doing both things: juke moves, spins, running through tackles, killing. Definitely player of the game in my opinion, and Clemson just continues to look dominant here in this one. Anything you want to take away more, from this game, any performances, and or anything about GT maybe?
Bo Sanders just had to let Elijah Carter know that it's his team.
Yeah.
Elijah Carter was talking all that trash. Bo Sanders was trying to warn him, and then went out and put 2 stacks on him on the ground.
Yeah.
By himself.
Yeah, he was posting up highlight clips because Bo had some legendary runs in that game. One guy at first at cornerback, I thought that was the guy he stiff armed when he got that stretch, and he just threw the dude into space, and ended up running his way in the end zone for the touchdown. But there was one where Elijah said, "Hey, if I see you, I'm gonna smack you, I'm gonna spear you." And he had posted a clip of him whiffing on the tackle when he had the one-on-one chance. Couldn't bring him down. Yes, straight slipped off him like a bar of soap. And he just kept it pushing while he was killing the rest of his teammates. But yeah, shout out to Elijah, though. I'm pretty sure he knew it was going to get bad. But, at the end of the day.
Yeah, we need more people to talk like him.
Yeah, you guys at least got 7 on the board, man. You didn't get all the way shut out and look bad. So, well, you did look bad. I mean, this is still a 48-point deficit. But
yeah, they looked bad.
Yeah. Good dub there for Clemson to bounce them back. Week 16, I said week 16, game 16 of the final premier game here. North Carolina State versus Kansas State. And this was a good competitive matchup. Craziness to go over with a controversial safety that happened but didn't happen. Would I say that it would have changed the outcome of this game? I don't know. It would have definitely gave a shot for Kansas State to potentially take the lead and win this game, though. But I mean, at the same time, the way things were getting played, me personally, I still think NC State would have probably handled business. Would have probably been a little bit closer, but 20-13 the final score. Takeaways from this game.
That we need more games like this. More games I feel like they're coming down to the wire. More games that have some excitement other than Bo Sanders has 210 yards in one game.
Yeah.
Something where you feel like either team could win and not how many points are they going to score today. But I think both teams played really well. Obviously, it's a very defensive game. But and I feel like this game was one of the. I think NC State's O line and D line played a lot better than Kansas State's, and that was the biggest difference.
Yeah. So NC State bouncing back. I believe they're 2-1 now. Good victory. Or are they 2-0? I think they're 2-0. Let me go here. I think I might be confusing them with another team here just to make sure that I'm correct. I was right. They're 2-1. They lost their first game against Tennessee. I had a feeling they played somebody tough. The opener they lost that, but beating FCS 45-7. FCS nice little tune-up game, and you come back, got a nice little close competitive game here, and you get it done. So good job for NC State being able to keep their hat still, in the talk of things for the ACC. Do expect them to get there. They didn't last year, but pretty okay team when they want to be. And then we get to our game of the week, which I expected this game to be the most competitive, and it was. As Penn State survived Utah at Rice, is how you say that stadium name? Esselis? I'm not sure, but first name is Rice in it. But they were at Utah, and Utah was able to make the game close. I mean, the week before they played LSU. I mean, that's tough scheduling right there. You played LSU, number 3 ranked team in the country. You keep that game within 7, losing 27-20. Then this week you're facing off against number 16 Penn State, and you keep it within 2. They had a chance to win this game, but they just could not get the offense going. And man, interceptions really killed Eric Alcorn. 3 picks in this game. And really stopped the offense. And Penn State, along both teams, really did a great job of stopping the run game for both sides. As Quincy Hall came in to relieve Austin Powers. I said Austin Powers, Abraham Powers. I'm thinking about that. I got bailed myself. Now Austin Powers from the movie. Abraham Powers. And he did a much better job on the ground. But Abraham Powers did a great job through the air. As you can see, he led in receiving yards with 94 yards on 8 catches. Any takeaways from this game?
Penn State's offense has got to be better. It's like going back to one of the games we had earlier in this week. When your defense is going to give you 3 interceptions and you only win by 2, that's an issue. That's an offensive issue. And it goes back to I think the biggest issue on Penn State's offense is the receivers. Because I think we go back and look, I think this has been consistent that the running backs are getting just as many targets as the receivers are. They're just not getting open. And when you're in the Big Ten with Ohio State, Michigan, those kind of teams, that's going to pose a problem later on. But I mean, good game. What's that
Fogg's actually
user
pretty
corner?
Good.
Yeah,
user corner? Are you talking about Kenzo Udo?
yeah, because I saw he got a big pick.
Yeah, I got him on a poster right now he got a nice little interception.
Oh yeah, right there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel were all 3 of their interceptions in the first half, or was it just?
I think they
or
got
was only
one
2
later. I think it was 2, definitely 2 in the first half. And the
Because wasn't
last one came later in the
Utah's?
game.
I may be wrong, but wasn't Utah's and their safety got, because it was Anderson who had made a TFL that immediately got the interception right after.
Zion Anderson got the big hit stick, and then the very next play got the pick, and then the next pick was Kenzo Udo.
And the very next,
undercutting.
And I feel like the very next drive was a pick again. And so right then and there should have flipped the game, those back-to-back interceptions, and it just didn't.
Yeah. You got to give it to Utah. And as Pecan pointed out, I mean, Utah is, in my opinion, a dangerous team because of their defense. Their defense was something to be reckoned with last year. Hassan Bird was a big-time name there. We had, I think it's Jackson Santana, another premier edge rusher that they have there. They got some pretty good corners that return. A lot of guys return even as generics that were solid last year to the squad on defense, and that's what's really helped them out with that lackluster offense so far. We know Vince Reed is a dog, though, at running back, and he had a couple explosive runs, but it had to come later on, and Penn State Just like how Utah did, had a really good run defense that kept them at bay. I do want to give a shout out to Eric Alcorn on that crossbody throw, though, that he was able to get to Dawes for that touchdown, for that long one. That was crazy. Thought for a second that was either going to be broken up or intercepted, but he just got it by the hands of, forgot the defensive back that tried to swat it away, but just missed it. And then he just took off to the crib. And I think at that point it was like 16-10. Yeah, I think it was 16-10 at that point. And then they were able to take the lead. They had the lead 16-17. And then Penn State managed to get in field goal range. And that's what led the score to be what you see there. But a lot of sacks, a ton of sacks in this game, man. Offensive lines were terrible. And it was what it was. But still a great defensive game. If you like defensive games, go back and watch that one. But that is it for the recap of week 3. Now we're moving into week 4 and to conference play. And with that being said, let's go get a look at the top 25 first here going into week 4, as this is the list as follows. 1 through 7 remain the same, with it being Clemson, Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, Illinois, Oregon, and Oklahoma State. We had a shift in Nebraska moving up to number 8 from number 9, and Miami moving from 10 to number 9. Georgia moving up from 11 to number 10. We had TCU moving up to number 11. Oklahoma, number 12. You can see the green checks, meaning they're all moving up. Tennessee moved up. And, of course, this happened because of the loss of Ole Miss, right? So Ole Miss went all the way from 8 to, you can see, dropping 10 spots down to 18, with 13 Tennessee, 14 Memphis, 15 Penn State. Florida jumped up 2 spots, went over Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech stayed the same at 17. Florida there at 16. Ole Miss, as we talked about, dropping to 10 spots. UTSA still in this thing, man, at 19. And SMU dropping down despite their victory this week over Georgia State. It was, again, it's just Georgia State, but they dropped down to number 20. Texas moves up a spot to 21. Baylor is officially ranked after their upset victory over Ole Miss, going from unranked to now 22. And you had NC State moving up to 25, North Texas moving up to 24, and Tulane is now ranked as they are 3-0 and looking very explosive. They've been dominating, just making the top 25. So with that being said, I mean, you're looking at these rankings. What's your thoughts right now, Forbes, moving forward, maybe into week 5, or any thoughts on any particular team just on this list?
Memphis cannot keep getting away with this. Memphis does not need to be ranked, let alone be top 15.
Yeah.
Same thing with UTSA. They let North Texas get back in there.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. It's crazy even to think about Tulane. Tulane ain't really all too bad to be like the bottom 25 type deal if they're like hot. But
hey, I got Tulane as like my sneaky is going to make the playoffs.
They could. They win that conference. They got a good shot. I mean, looking at the rest
Yeah.
of the schedule, I mean, they just beat Mississippi State bad like the week before, 58 to
I think
10.
they've beaten
It's crazy.
everybody bad.
Yeah.
I think Tulane's good. That's my dark horse pick. Now I don't know how far they'll get, but I think they're definitely gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah. We'll see, but I'll throw my hat in there. So yeah, that's the top 25 rankings. This will be posted up on social media. And with that, we're about to dive into these games. But before we talk about the games that's coming up in the conference play, of course, you said you wanted to bring in a scenario looking at teams, just talking about who you think will win their conference, right? We did this before, but just to go over, but off of what we've seen so far, what would be your takeaways for who you think is going to win? Let's start out with the ACC, man. Off rip, tough one. Do you think that Miami is going to be able to win things out and be able to take that spot of Duke?
I think you're forgetting that Clemson is in the ACC.
Well, yeah, I'm already guaranteeing they're going to be there with how they're playing. We know they're going
Oh,
to
you
be
mean
in
who's
the
just gonna
ACC.
get there in the championship?
Yeah. Who do you think Clemson would
Okay.
beat in this? Yeah.
Um, That's hard. I think Miami is the better team overall, but if they can't be consistent throughout the entire year, I think Duke could slip in. But I'm gonna go with CP. I'm gonna take the coaches and all the users, and I think Miami's gonna be the number 2 team in the ACC.
All right. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the trying to pull up the game itself so people can see. Oh, let's go ahead and turn that volume off. And we'll take these things off right now, even the camera. All right, so there's a look at, we'll go in order. ACC apparently was first anyway, so yeah, Clemson and Miami right now 1-2. Duke is at 3, but they are 3-0, and they're looking to move up. Duke is still not ranked, as we saw. We'll see if they'll get there. But and you said you could see Duke getting there or Miami. Is there any other team that you see that could potentially toss their name in the ACC bid?
Oh, Pecan says to hide it because we've done some of the games already.
Oh yeah. I'm bugging. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. So about that, literally, it was yeah, tweaking. Go ahead and get the bell. Jeez. I was about to show everything. Oh man. Where's the title at? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I done went through the whole ACC, so I guess you guys know what's good. Yeah, we didn't play every game. We didn't record every game. But yeah. I'm gonna just look at it from the side and just, yeah. Do you think there's any other team that might be able to go there against Clemson?
No, I don't. I think there's a huge gap between those 3 and everyone else in the ACC.
Got you. All right, going down the list, we're looking at the American Conference, man. This is the conference that Tulane is a part of. They're finally ranked. And right now, currently, we've got, USF, they're 3-0. Memphis, 3-0. And of course, I'm looking at the standings, the records to make sure I'm not, spoiling anything. But yeah, Tulane's in the mix. Do you think that this is the conference for Tulane to win? I think I chose Tulane to win the
I
American
think it's
anyway.
by I think it's by far Tulane. I don't think anyone else in there is close.
So who do you think they play if they go there? Memphis is a part of this. They're ranked. I see USF on here, man. They're ranked. They're not ranked, but
UTSA
they're
is also
3-0.
in there.
UTSA is in there. I don't know, man. I've looked at the roster of USF, and I will say this,
You
man.
like them?
I think they got some dogs. The quarterback and the receivers, fire. I'm gonna put in the bid, say that it's Tulane and USF, man, and the in the conference championship at this point. I think I picked Memphis and Tulane first when I did this.
Well, then I'll go with USF. I can't pick Memphis. I'm tired of seeing them in the top 25. I'm not doing it.
All right, now we're looking at the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is pretty interesting too. Oklahoma State is a big name to throw out there. TCU. We got Baylor now with Rodney, despite the embarrassing loss of Maryland, to come back and beat number 8 ranked Ole Miss. That's huge.
Utah's in here.
Yeah, Utah's in here. We just saw, even though they're 1-2 right now, they played LSU and Penn State, who were ranked and really good teams defensively, and they made those games close. So looking at that, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I still feel like this is Oklahoma State's conference
To lose.
Yeah, and then to be honest, I got Utah possibly playing them in the conference championship.
I was going to say Utah, but I'll say Baylor. I'll see if Coach Rodney can get his act together.
Yeah, you could be sitting at 2-0 right now, man. All you had to do was get it done over my Terps, but you know what I mean? It's my Terps, man. You ain't beating them like that.
Or all he had to do was be active during the creations team and get some people to submit.
Yeah, he could have got somebody. But yeah, Oklahoma State and Utah would be fire. Even TCU, I could see them in there. They're 3-0 right now, and they're not all too bad. So it's gonna be interesting to
How's
see them.
Colorado doing with that 99 overall corner?
Colorado, they're 2-0. They haven't lost a game yet. They just got a bye week. Haven't really played anybody. So You know, it is what it
Is
is.
that guy active?
I haven't seen him active. A couple
I
guys,
saw him come in.
yeah. And that's why we gotta
I
have
saw him come in, get the
podcasts on
corner and
here
leave.
sometimes frequently, so guys can get some information and know what's going on. But yeah, some guys just not as active right now. Um, and again, I mean, there's no action going on for him, so I guess he has nothing to say. There's no games for Colorado. Should be some this week, but I don't think any of those a game like that got chosen for him. So another week where they probably gonna have to play on the extras channel. But
Yep.
yeah, we went over Big 12. Let's go get a look at Big 10. This is obviously, in my opinion, not going to go against Ohio State. I got them as the favorites, but so much more competition now, man. They got USC. They got Illinois now that is ranked within the top 5. They got Oregon, who
Oregon.
they played against and has been dominating teams, averaging 75 points a game, which is crazy to even think of. They got Nebraska in the hat in top 10. Michigan. And yeah, I think those are the real big heavy names. Any of those teams that you think is going to meet Ohio State in the Big 10 championship game? I mean,
For me, it's either Oregon or USC, but it's hard for me to. I want to pick Oregon real bad, but I also know they haven't played anybody yet.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me.
And
USC is pretty good too. They haven't played
yeah,
much of anybody yet. They played Washington, beat them 34-20. Good competitive. I mean, good showing there, but it wasn't enough to get them, ranked again this week. They
yeah,
play Penn State this week, which we're going to get into, man. So that's going to be huge. I think if they win that game, they're going to be in the top 25. But again, they're coming back from a 6-6 season. So I can see why, the rankings is heavily against them right now, despite what they've been able to do so far. But yeah, I would agree, man. I think
I mean, I know Illinois is
Oregon.
up there, but I think it's Oregon or USC.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna choose USC. I think USC might do it.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning. But if Oregon can play the way they
Just off
have
the
against
fact that they have
real,
a coach. That's kind of
yeah,
it.
that's how that's kind of how I'm feeling too.
Yeah. All right, so those are Big Ten conference predictions. Conference USA, the best team I see in here, man. These teams are horrible. I mean, UD's there, but UD is literally 0-3, so I mean that's pretty bad. Um, and they are the best ranked team in this conference. I don't even know. I haven't even seen games from any of these teams this
And
year.
then
Yeah, so I don't even. Let's just skip them because I mean I can't even go off anything. Nothing about the independents
actually be
there. The MAC conference. Let's see who we seen. Well, we've seen Toledo. They haven't been winning. They've been getting blown out.
yeah.
Um, man, this we haven't seen much of these
I don't
guys
really
either.
see.
Yeah, can't say nothing. Can't really say nothing about this either. But,
Yeah,
let's move on. Mountain West Conference. Boise State. They lost to Nevada, man, in a really good game in extras. Uh, what was it, 26-29, something like that? I can't remember. It was close though. And they're 1-2. I had them favored to win this conference. I don't think they play. Of course, conference play hasn't happened yet. I think they're going to dog the rest of these guys when they play them. So I'm picking
yeah.
Boise State to win the Mountain West,
I gotta
despite
go
the
with the
rough
blue
start.
field.
Yeah. Hopefully, Colorado State doesn't come out like they did last year, getting ranked and all that stuff, even though they didn't play anybody and had a 6-6 regular season record, which it looks like they definitely done a much better job of the top 25 rankings within the game. But
Yeah,
yeah, we don't want to see that again. Even though we got UTSA and North Texas right now ranked with Memphis, but I don't think they'll be on there long. So yeah, I'm going with Boise State, and I have not seen the rest of these teams in here to say who I think would go against them. Fresno State too, but they're not doing too good right now. So yeah, can't really say too much. Pac-12 isn't a thing anymore. Pac-2 now. SEC, man, who runs the SEC? Georgia won it last year.
Alabama,
They're struggling right now. And you say Bama, I'm probably gonna go
Bama.
with Bama too. Right? Yeah,
I
Bama.
think LSU is LSU is second and Florida is third. Week 5, that could change.
Yeah, I agree. Until Florida shows, hey man, we can be. But at the same time, am I going to take Florida over the rest of these SEC teams, man? They're
I
good,
mean, like I
but
told you earlier, I'm taking Florida over Texas and Tennessee right now, based on how the defense is played.
okay. Yeah, it makes sense. I could see Georgia having a really tough time to score. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Florida beat Georgia last year because they're lack of offense? I'm trying to think. In the college series, I think they did. I think they did. So I mean,
I didn't hear anything you said in the last 20 seconds.
oh, I was saying I'm pretty sure I thought Florida beat Georgia last year in the college series. So yeah, yeah, they did. Yeah, Pecan, waiting for Pecan
Yeah.
to confirm, but yeah, they did beat him. I see Tayshawn Williams said sleep let him sleep shady. What Shady say? Put some respect on the horns now. Uh look man, I'm gonna say this. I think people definitely fear your defense. You guys got some weapons on offense too, Shady. You want them. The issue, and you know that's my guy, but we gotta see what Nyshawn does against good defenses. Last year it wasn't good. Last year it wasn't, and it was because of the arm, which is still an issue. If that's still an issue, I don't see how we can put you guys in the conversation with LSU, Florida, with the way that their defense is
Alabama.
playing and the offensive firepower they have. Bama, stuff like that. Yeah. I will say though, there are some question marks with Florida though. Because Florida, even though they got a good quarterback in KC Robinson, the issue I see with them is their receivers. They had a good game last time they played. They balled out against Notre Dame, but these guys are notoriously known for dropping the pill. And I mean, I've seen multiple occasions where KC is putting it right to the face mask on the jersey number, straight to the hands, and these dudes just dropping everything. And it's making him look bad. Then he's also got a pretty bad line at times. Well, last year he had a terrible line up front. And this year, I think some of those guys the guys are back and they've been getting bullied. So, but they're doing a little bit better this year, but he's doing a better job, I think, understanding the time he's got to work with. So, I could see Florida right now being kind of up in smoke with a good defense, and their offense ain't helping them out. So it's kind of similar to you guys. But I think your Texas is more at a liability because of the throw power. You guys got some demons when it comes to the speed. But if you can't get the ball deep down there when they cook the corners, that's where the issue lies. And I think that hurts a lot more in this game, just in college football, even last year, to
Yep.
really look at Texas to be like, and then not only that, Nyshawn's 5'9", man. And, this seems like I'm killing this Nyshawn right now, but, these are just facts in the game, man. 5'9", which means he's got to move around, find areas to throw the ball. His accuracy is even more effective because of that. It's so many factors against y'all's offense because of that. But we'll see if he can prevail. That's all I can say. I mean, you guys are 2-0 right now. Finally got the roster 100% right. I think, you guys definitely can make some noise, but it all comes down to number 2, man. Can number 2 take a number 2 on the rest of the SEC moving forward? We're going to see. Oklahoma, we haven't really seen too much. What do you think about Oklahoma, man? They're in the SEC.
I think that is Daryl Johnson's alma mater.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Oklahoma this season anyway.
Yeah, they were definitely hit or miss. It was either they were winning big or they were getting blown out. And that's literally, it was no in between with Oklahoma last year. But Oklahoma right now, 3-0. 3-0. So we'll see if they're a little something. But yeah, I think that's it for the SEC. I think we predict LSU and Alabama for the conference championship there. Sun Belt, do we know? Have we seen any of these teams here? Let me see. Yeah, I really can't go off. We can't say nothing about the Sun Belt. Yeah, so I think that's it. We went over the major conferences and who we think might win right now at this point. Now let's get into the fun that is going to be coming this week. Week 4 schedule, guys. Go ahead and take the thumbnail off right there and bow. Let me go. Oh, yeah. Got to take my camera off too. Boom. And alive. So here we go. Week 4 starting on Monday. Speaking of Texas, you guys opening it up against Oklahoma State. What a banger of a game this is to kick off just this week of conference play, right? I know they're not a part of the Big 12 anymore, but this is a former Big 12 matchup. Oklahoma State ranked 7th. Texas gets themselves ranked. They were 22 last week, moved up a spot. They're ranked 21, and they're opening up the first game for the big week of big competitive play that we're looking forward to. Going to my spreads here. Let me see what I got this week. I actually got Oklahoma State walking out of this one victorious with the home field advantage. And again, my concerns with Nyshawn at the quarterback position. I think Kareem Douglas has more of the opportunities to put more points on the board. Texas, though, has the better defense, right? But at the same time, Oklahoma State's a pretty good team themselves. So I got Oklahoma State by a field goal or more in this one. What's your thoughts?
I'm going to take Oklahoma State in this game.
All right. Any reasons why? You're just leaving it like that?
To go against Shady.
All right, just hating. All right, yeah. So Tuesday, we got USC unranked taking on number 15 Penn State, and this is the game that is going to get Coach Severio and the Trojans ranked. I'm pretty sure of it. So, and they're on the road, right? We just seen Penn State survive Utah by 2 points with a lackluster offense. USC's got a pretty good defense coming in. So I'm going, though, with USC after what I saw for the game of the week last week. Penn State does have the home field advantage again, like I said, this time. So maybe they'll play better there at home. But USC, I like what I've seen from them so far. I know they're very anxious and eager to get ranked. And Severio's going to definitely put his best foot forward to make sure his team's in the right position to succeed. I got them winning by 6 or more points. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm also going to go with USC, and is what we've been saying. I think coaching matters, and I think Severio is just going to outcoach whatever Penn State does.
All right, moving on to the next Tuesday game. Pecan would be in the booth calling this one, of course, to close out our Tuesdays. Number 9, Miami taking on unranked UNC, North Carolina Tar Heels, and the Miami Hurricanes. And during the mod era of the college series was always must-watch football, but we can see obviously from the dominance since coming over to the college football game and the talent that Miami has. I mean, they just beat Stanford 71-3. I'm gonna be honest, I've seen North Carolina play. They've had some good moments. Do I feel like they're going to stack up against Miami? No. Can they make the game potentially close? We'll have to see. I got them winning by 14 or more points, and I mean Miami, not UNC. Yeah, that spread could be bigger, but we want to see. I want to see what UNC can bring with the home field advantage, and if they can at least be within that range, I think the score could be somewhere close there. What do you think?
I'm taking Miami, and I think this is a game that they need to win by 14 or more. Like they need to show that they're one of those teams that are in the tier above. They're one of the teams that are competing for the Natty, competing, to win it all. If for whatever reason they lose this game,
oh, that's bad. They got to play Clemson still. So,
because this would be an ACC.
And I
game.
Promise you,
it's a conference game. And for any reason Miami loses, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Well, I guess I could say, and I promise you right now, because as I said, I'm gonna be talking trash. I'm waiting for Miami to talk trash about my Tar Heels once they beat them, which I expect them to do. But if for whatever reason they do not win this game, just know I ordered myself a few UNC Tar Heel shirts, and those will be rocked on the next podcast. So I'm rocking them anyway. But yeah, don't let me rock them and have something crazy to say while rocking. That's all I'm gonna say. So
Yeah, but
yeah, win that game.
yeah, this is one of those games where, like, if for whatever reason Miami loses this conference game against a team that's worse than them with a loss already on the record, that's when we start questioning if they're going to make the playoffs or not.
Yeah. But they should be able to, yeah, they should definitely be able to walk away with this game. UNC, we'll see what they have to offer as a team. Um, I'm definitely anxious for that matchup. Just want to be in there, talk trash with the guys, just see what happens. Good thing it's live too. Wednesday, FCS games, we got two. So that's you looking to your left side, the middle of the screen, kind of. Ohio State versus FCS. Obviously, we're choosing any team against the FCS squad. I got Ohio State winning by 60 or more points. Do you think they cover that spread?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Then we got Baylor taking on a FCS squad. I got them winning by 45 or more points. Do you think they cover that spread?
I don't know if Baylor scores 45 on FCS. That's going to be tough for Baylor.
We'll see, man.
I don't know
45.
if Rodney's going to be able to.
Okay, so the next 4 p.m. game, Tulane versus Charlotte. I got Tulane beating Charlotte by 41 or more points.
I mean, I'm taking Tulane. I don't know if I'm taking the 41-point spread.
All right, I'm gonna throw out there too, man. I mean, they beat Mississippi State. It was a better squad, or at least close to it, in my opinion, from what I've seen. 58-10. So that's really my logic as to why I'm like, yeah, Tulane. I think they might stump a mort hole
I mean,
into Charlotte in this matchup.
I get that, but like, it's also not like Tulane has shown to be Oregon either. Like it's hard to put that kind of numbers up every week.
Yeah. So we will see 6 p.m. games. We got Indiana versus Michigan. I got Michigan winning by 21 or more with that home field advantage.
I haven't seen much of either one of these teams, but I'll take Michigan for that Hodge alumni status.
All right, for the 21 points or more.
Ooh, no, I won't. I will not go with the spread on that.
All right. Now, second 6 p.m. game, we've got Minnesota versus Washington. And I've got Washington winning this one by 4 or more points.
I'm gonna go with Minnesota. I feel like they have a better offense than Washington, and I think they're about even on defense. So I'm gonna go with Minnesota over Washington.
All right, and our final 6 p.m. game on Wednesday, Kansas State versus Houston. I'm going Houston by 4 or more points as well.
I'm gonna go with Kansas State because they're purple.
8 p.m. games. Got Kentucky versus Tennessee. Uh, Kentucky's looked pretty good from the games we were able to record, even in the extras. But going Tennessee here by a touchdown or more.
Yeah, I think Tennessee is clearly the better team in this. More users, just more well rounded. I think it's pretty easily Tennessee with the spread.
All right, then we have Clemson versus Florida State in a good old rivalry. Clemson by 29 or more points.
Until proven otherwise, there's no reason not to pick Clemson with the spread.
Gotcha. All right, now we're moving on to Thursday with Nebraska versus Rutgers. Got Nebraska winning this one by 21 or more points on the road.
I'm going with Rutgers because I want to see a good upset this week. I want to see some rankings change. I want to see some Rutgers in the Big Ten too, right? So let's see some shifting in conference play.
And next game, Wisconsin versus Maryland. I got Maryland Terrapins winning by more than two touchdowns, 15 or more points.
I'll take Maryland with the spread there. Wisconsin's been very underwhelming this year.
All right, then the final 4 p.m. game on Thursday, Arkansas versus Auburn. These games have been fire between these two every time, but I think that Auburn is just still on their consistent level where they've been. Arkansas has taken a step back this season with the roster they have. I got Auburn by 15 or more points as well.
I'm going to take Auburn for the same reasons you just said.
All right, 6 p.m. Eastern, Texas A&M versus South Carolina. South Carolina in a similar boat as Arkansas, have taken a step back. Texas A&M, they kind of stepped down a little bit too, but you know I think they got a win over Arkansas earlier. Yeah, 26-20. I think it was last week, if not week 2. And I got Texas A&M on the road winning by 10 or more.
I'm going to take South Carolina in this one. They're at home. I live in South Carolina, so I might stop by the game, so they better win.
Memphis versus UTSA. Got Memphis in this one by more than a touchdown. Somebody might get knocked off in this matchup from the top 25.
In 4 weeks, happen to be ranked, playing another bad ranked team. And so if they win, they just keep climbing the rankings. So I'm taking UTSA, hoping that Memphis starts to fall. But they're now getting away with this twice.
All right, then the last 6 p.m. game, Notre Dame versus Boise State. I'm taking Notre Dame by 10 or more.
Yeah, I think this is one of those matchups where one team is just clearly better than the other. I'm going to take Notre Dame over Boise.
And the final, we got 2 more games here. Boston at 8 p.m. Eastern, Boston College versus Georgia Tech. I'm going with the Yellow Jackets with the home field advantage by 4 or more points.
I'm going with Georgia Tech because this is going to be one of the few games they might actually have a chance in, so they need to win it.
And the final premier game at 8 p.m. Eastern, along with that one, UCLA versus Oregon. I've got Oregon by 26 or more points.
I'm gonna take Oregon.
And then, of course, our game of the week, the top right, Alabama versus Oklahoma. I got Bama winning on the road by 18 or more.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Oklahoma has shown us that they're an okay team, but have not shown us they're on the level of Alabama. So I'm going with Alabama.
All right, man. Well, that's it for the schedule. Of course, this will be getting dropped on our social media. I'm going to go ahead and start turning things right back on here while I hide this. And then right now, I guess we can leave it open to the public. Any questions you guys have to ask us, ask away. And we'll be able to answer them here. We'll probably stay on for like 7 minutes. 6 now, 10 at 10:10, and roll out. So what do you guys think about what you guys have seen? Any games you're most excited about that's coming up? How do you feel about a certain team? Put it all in the chat and we can sit there and talk about it. What's your thoughts and feeling though, man, of this upcoming week? Definitely the best week of games we've had since we've started.
Yeah, just going with that. I'm hoping that it's not blowout central again. I'm hoping that next week when we talk about the games, there's more to say other than they won by 50. Let's go to the next.
I see Pecan saying if anybody allows a single point Ohio State game in the FCS, teams running laps. So Coach Connor ain't playing that. And then we have Rodney saying, did the Heisman race change? We're not looking at the Heisman race right now. We're probably going to start looking at that when it comes to like week 6, week 7, and start making posts about that and where that lies and, who's where.
Yeah, because I mean, if we did a Heisman right now, I don't think there's an argument for anyone other than Corey Baines.
Yeah.
There's.
Well, would you say
Anyone else anyone else thrown 18 touchdowns in 3 games, Smitty?
There was somebody who threw 19.
Who?
I think it was a guy who was not even who's new. It was a generic. Let me go check.
better not tell me like Sam Houston's quarterback.
I'm about to go check right now. Was it him? Review. Oh. I think I might got him right quick, but let me just check to make sure. Yeah, it was the Kentucky quarterback, Zach Azoma.
Mm.
Yeah, he threw 6 touchdowns against Eastern Michigan, 7 against Ball State, and 6 against FCS. Of course, obviously not big schools or anything,
Yeah.
but he's
Well,
lighting
same
it
thing
up.
with Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't seen Kentucky play, so I didn't know he was up there.
I see Shady saying if Nashan gets height increase surgery, will that change your opinion on? Well, height definitely makes a big impact. And of course, you guys already know you can't change height once you submit the guy and stuff in the league. We're realistic in that regard. But yeah, the height it just really impacts him, man. And then on top of that, to have the arm strength of an 86 is just really is like offense is just against him to be able to complete those big passes that you need. You need a good enough arm to be able to hit those curls for those cornerbacks jump on it to hit those digs and things like that, and then just to have those taller linemen in front of you that you got to move around just to find the space to throw. It's just so many factors that's against the man, and yeah, I think it's going to be hard to try to flip that narrative of
Because
what he's able to do.
we've only ever had one like sub 90 throw power quarterback be successful in the RFL, and that was back in the mod days in McCall, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't the last 2 years we've been on here, I don't think there's been good quarterbacks with below a 90 throw power.
Let's see here. See, we gotta play real comp first. Yep, Jaden stats, Jaden Young stats. Yeah, Jaden's been going crazy. I think he had 16 touchdowns. Let me check. It might be 13. Yeah, Young. Oh no, 11. Young's got 11 touchdowns in his first 3 games. I mean, it's not bad. Only 1 interception. But yeah, everyone else who's played, other games a little bit higher right now. That hasn't played too much of competition. But I'm pretty sure once Bama starts getting those weaker end games they can play, which honestly not going to be many because the conference play is already here. That's going to go up. But then at the same time, I mean, you guys sat. He sat sat out. So he could have probably put even way more stats up, but just didn't get a chance to because they were blowing teams out. So. See, he was throwing bombs against Eastern Michigan. Yep. Outside of the live games, what game do you think has the best shot to be the best game to watch? You talk about for premieres
For this week, can you pull the schedule back up?
Oh yeah. Got this stuff in the way.
The best game that's not a live. It's probably Boston College, Georgia Tech. In terms of like being close,
Yeah, competitive.
I'd say it'd be Boston College, Georgia Tech.
It's for that.
Memphis and UTSA will probably end up being a close game.
Uh, yeah, and I'm thinking honestly, Kentucky and Tennessee too. I like that.
Yeah.
But another game that people sleeping on, definitely Minnesota and Washington, because it was tough for me to really decide who I would think would win this, and I feel like most people would say Minnesota, but when I looked at the roster, I was like, this slightly favors just based off of how I feel this game can go, this slightly favors Washington with the home field advantage too. So I think that's a really good game to tune into. That's actually going to be my choice. Minnesota and Washington, just to be a little bit different.
I'm gonna check out FCS and Baylor. See if Rodney loses to an FCS team.
So way too early. Okay, that's Rob been going crazy. We've been playing camp. Yep, for sure. Way too early. Yeah, but everyone playing FCS schools too. Yep. Yep, and it seems like dudes just picking out games too, like how we were. So
Yeah.
Texas A&M, South Carolina. Yeah. So Washington just scored 71 against Wazoo, but Minnesota put up 27 against Bama. Yeah, so that just shows I think it shows that they're kind of on even playing field to an extent. And I mean, they kind of stood a little bit with USC too. I mean, 34-20. I mean, obviously USC still had them, but it's a 14-point difference against a really good team that most likely is could be going to the playoffs, could win their conference, So I'm actually giving 3 more minutes. We went over a time of 10:10, but 10:15 we can roll out.
I miss the old Pac-12.
Oh yeah, that would have been pretty fun to watch, man. Washington, UCLA,
USC,
USC, those rivalries,
Oregon.
Yeah. Those are some good games.
Have you seen the new Pac-12 that's coming?
No.
There are a bunch of teams signed.
In real life? What was that?
Yeah, it's Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Oregon State, San Diego State, Texas State, Utah State, and Washington State.
It's a lot of states.
Every team has state in the name.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest though. I'm not really excited about any of those teams.
No, other than
Boise State, yeah.
Boise State.
Yeah, to go from Oregon, USC, UCLA, and all those guys we mentioned to that, and that's a fall off for sure.
Oh yeah, and then Gonzaga, but Gonzaga doesn't have a football program.
Might need to get one just to get football, something interesting to talk about with that conference.
Yeah.
All right, so not really seeing any more questions. Guys bringing up those competitive teams. Say y'all should have rebuilt Pac-12. Oh nah, I like the Big Ten as it is with these new additions, and the SEC too, man. With Texas being over there. Who else went with Texas to the SEC? Oklahoma, yeah.
Oklahoma, yeah. I mean, it still messes me up that SMU and Stanford and California are all in the ACC.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think that is it. I don't see any more questions, guys. Just chatting it out. If you got anything to ask us, possibly when we get the time, make sure to send a message to us on Discord or whatever it is. Chill with us whenever we're in VC. But that is it for episode 4 of the RFL College Series podcast. Episode 5 will come back on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern per usual to recap what has happened going into week 5. With that being said, your boy Smitty, RFL Commissioner and play-by-play commentator, joined here along with Forbes. And we will see you guys next time on Monday for the Texas versus Oklahoma State game. What a banger that should be. Until then, peace.